Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're probably wondering, why do I have my laptop with me right now? Well, it's because I saw John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, and I witnessed a big kick-ass movie from Keanu Reeves. And what made it even more badass was the classical music used by Antonio Vivaldi. That thing that you heard from the trailer, that was Winter, a part of the Four Seasons written by Antonio Vivaldi. And I just need to play it with y'all right now because classical music is just so awesome. Thanks to John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Let's do it! John Wick Chapter 3, directed by Stahelski, stars Keanu Reeves, Halle Berry, Laurence Fishburne, Ian McShane, and there's all of the other people. So this movie is about John Wick after John Wick Chapter 2. He has escaped from all the assassins because of all of these assassins are trying to hunt him in New York City, and John Wick is trying to find refuge, but he has a lot of trouble. And when he's in a lot of danger, he tries to find out, where he's trying to go, until he realizes that there is this type of pass that is longing for him, and then he eventually begins to realize where he's coming from and what type of program he was a part of, and then which type of agency will he trust next. And as he goes on this journey, he fights the bad guys in New York, and he even travels around the continent. And then you just get yourself an action movie, and John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum was absolutely worth it.
John Wick, excommunicado, is now in effect.
I saw this movie this afternoon, and I have to say, I felt the adrenaline rushing through my veins, rushing through my brain, rushing through my eyes, witnessing every single fight scene / stunt / choreography put in this film, because John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum has to be the most action-packed out of the John Wick trilogy. And it's really surprising that this movie finally got a trilogy with Keanu Reeves that did stand on its own. Unfortunately, with the Matrix trilogy, the second one was a lot of fun, the third one had a lot of problems, but I have to say, all of these movies, John Wick's 1, 2, and 3, have very unique features that they can stand alone, and they're just really awesome, and I feel like this is a perfect trilogy for Keanu Reeves. If I'm being honest with y'all, this probably has to be one of Keanu Reeves' best performances I've ever seen put on film. He may be a little underrated as an actor, but when you see John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, you really feel all the emotions that he was given. Not just with his stunt work, but the way how he was able to act through these scenes. And you could feel the intensity that he was going through, the physical and emotional pain that John Wick had to go. And Keanu Reeves does reflect it very, very well.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Aha! That Matrix throwback, Keanu Reeves. Very clever. Now, another actress I really enjoyed watching was Halle Berry, and Halle Berry did a fantastic job in this movie. I really loved the scenes where she was with Keanu Reeves, and she did a great job in the action sequences. You could tell that she and Keanu had a big amount of time to choreograph all these fights and go through all this fight and gun training, and you could see that their hard work really paid off. And what I also loved about Halle Berry's performance is that this was one of her best performances in years, and I believe Halle Berry is a very, very talented actress. I still believe that she is amazing as Storm. She wasn't quite great as the action star in Die Another Day, but I'm very glad that a movie like John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum has given Halle Berry kind of a comeback role, kind of with Keanu Reeves with the first John Wick movie, but I'm very glad that Halle Berry returned, and she was even more awesome in this one. And, I really loved it. I really loved that she made kind of a comeback in this movie. There are two great things about John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, and I'm going to start off with the first one. The first one I have to say is that the action sequences are mind-blowing, and I absolutely mean it. Mind-blowing, mind-blowing, mind-blowing. I really mean it. When you watch this film, you could see the hard work and dedication that Keanu Reeves, Halle Berry, and the entire stunt team put together into this project. And that's the thing I really love about these John Wick movies, is that From the first movie, you get the club scene. In the second movie, you get the catacomb scene. And in this one, you get so many sequences. You get Keanu Reeves riding a horse, riding a motorcycle, beating up the bad guys, and it's just really awesome about how when you watch this movie, so much of it is in camera. You're able to really see the glorifying fight scenes in this movie, and you can see all the stunt work and how they did the gunplay. And when you just watch it, you're not gonna feel disappointed when you watch this action film. This really is an action film, guys.
You think you can take John Wick?
But here is the caution/warning for all the people who have not seen John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum yet. I have to warn you that even if the action scenes are great, they are very brutal and gory and violent. This probably has to be the most violent John Wick movie I have ever seen, ever. And there are so many scenes that really took me away, and they shocked me when John Wick not only kicked ass, but he did something very gruesome. And that's all I have to say for all the viewers who have not seen this movie, is that you're gonna have to expect extremely brutal fight scenes, even more than the first two movies. And that's what I mean by the violence being brought to the next level in John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. And the violence kind of made me feel as if I was watching Kill Bill or a Tarantino film. That's how brutal the violence is in this film. The second great thing I loved about John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum was the cinematography, because the cinematography and visuals are just fantastically beautiful. I mean it. This is a very colorful movie. The movie does know how to use a lot of colors and how to blend it into the environment to set tones of tension or just another conversation scenes. And basically, even in the most intense fight scenes, it's able to use light, and cool and red colors. And, just when you watch it, it uses kind of the entire rainbow and sets us off as like this intense, colorful fights they're trying to witness, or a colorful revenge story. And basically, this is also a type of movie where when you see the cinematography, you could kind of, or if you're a film student, you could learn how to shoot in location, how to film on location, and that is the beauty of the cinematography in this film.
To meeting you for a long time.
John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum is still a great time, but unfortunately the film does falter from a few flaws. The first flaw that I have is with Halle Berry. Not because of her performance, but her screen time was much shorter than I expected. And it's something that kind of disappointed me, because I really wanted to see Halle Berry even more. But if they make another John Wick movie, I'd love to see more screen time from her. But I think people are going to be a little disappointed that they're not going to be able to see so much of Halle Berry in the film. And the other flaw that I have with the film is probably the second to third act. The second to third act kind of jolted from time to time. There is one scene in the film where John Wick was given a decision, and you see the decision that he makes, but the film kind of halts there. And once he makes that decision, it's just abrupt. He doesn't really think about it. It's just, okay, whatever. And it's not that complex. You kind of expect John Wick to maybe have some doubt, but when he makes that decision in the film, you'd be like, I could have used some more thinking time. He just accepts it, and that's all I have to say, because usually with movies like John Wick, they kind of have these simple problems, but they're not things that ruin the film. These are films that, have these type of problems, and they're things that you can kind of think about, but again, these are problems that didn't ruin the film, and it's still watchable. But nevertheless, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum is still a fantastic, great time, filled with tons of explosive action, Keanu Reeves and Halle Berry doing an awesome job in their stunts, and still a film that you can get very invested into. I highly recommend it, guys. It's still in theaters, and I'm going to give John Wick Chapter 3 an 8 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I am very glad that I got to see it, and this was fun making this video, and be sure to stay tuned for more videos coming this summer. Thank you very much, guys!